Hello, you're welcome to another interesting topic. This is fermented pawpaw, organic feed with fermented unripe pawpaw. If you're a poultry farmer and you have garden farm where you have abundance of pawpaw, you can make use of it to feed your poultry and livestock animals free of charge. The cost of feeding livestock animals is very costly this time. So every poultry farmer should look for a way to cut down the cost without compromising quality. So in this particular video, I want to give you organic way of. This process will help you to drop down the cost of feeding your poultry and livestock animals, at the same time increasing the quality of meat you produce and making use of all this pawpaw that should have been wasted. So watch this video till the end so that you get the best from it. In this video, I'm going to guide you on the process of the fermentation, how you're going to ferment it, what you need to add to get, and the result you need to get, and the nutritional value of this feed at the end of the fermentation process. So watch till the end. What happens when you ferment unripe pawpaw fruit mixed with corn flour and water for 7 days for poultry feed? When you ferment a mixture of unripe pawpaw fruit, corn, flour, and water for 7 days, a number of biological and chemical processes occur, transforming the mixture into a nutrient-rich feed. Here is the breakdown of the processes. Now you can see me cutting the unripe. All these pawpaw are waste. We don't need to use them. We don't need to eat them. So instead of throwing them away, we can now ferment it and use it to drop the cost of our poultry feed. So watch and see the processes that's involved in this fermentation process. The first stage is what I'm doing here, slicing the pawpaw fruit, the unripe pawpaw fruit into pieces. Slice them into usable form so that it will be easier to grind or grate. We're going to use grater here, electric grater, to grate it, to slice it into pieces. Then slicing them into pieces will help us in the fermentation process so that the fermentation process will not take too long. So watch the steps involved. What I'm doing here now is slicing, cutting down the unripe pawpaw into smaller units so that it will be easier to grate. The fermentation process. Unripe pawpaw fruit is very rich in enzymes, vitamins, and fiber. First, slice them into smaller units. As you are slicing it, remove the seeds because you still make use of the seed in due course after drying it. In the next video, I will teach you what you use the seeds to do. So watch, this is the slicing process going on. Remove the seeds as you are cutting them into small units. The seed will be used in another video for your poultry beds also. So don't throw away the seed. You can see that I'm keeping the seed because I'll still make use of them later. Make sure you gather the seed in a neat format so that it will not be contaminated. Gather the seed and sun dry the seed so that you make use of it later in the same poultry beds. These are the sliced ones. After this process, we'll go to the next process. The pawpaw fruit you use should be very neat and clean so that it will not be contaminated. These are the pawpaw seeds. The pawpaw seeds are also useful in organic poultry farming. That is why I'm keeping this seed to be used later. These are the sliced ones. After the slicing process, we're going to the next stage. Here now, we need to grate them into smaller units so that the fermentation process will be easier. Here, we are preparing the grater. You can see slicing process also. The main reason behind cutting this unripe pawpaw into smaller units is to enable it to enter into the grater's hole. This is the grating process going on. The work of the grater is to slice it into smaller particles so that it can easily be fermented. Once it is smaller in units, the fermentation process will not take too long. If you ferment the bigger portion of this pawpaw seed, as the grating process is going on, let me briefly explain to you what happens when pawpaw, unripe pawpaw and corn flour is fermented for 7 days. Corn flour is a source of carbohydrates and energy, while addition of water is to facilitate the fermentation and maintain the required moisture for microbial activity. The mixing, you need to combine the chopped pawpaw, the corn flour and water into a slurry. Then add enzyme. The consistency should not be too thick or too watery. The aim is for a porridge-like texture. The fermentation process. Place the mixture in an airtight container or a bucket to encourage anaerobic fermentation. Leave it undisturbed for 7 days at room temperature. During the fermentation process, lactic acid bacteria from the environment ferment the sugars in the pawpaw and corn flour. Natural enzymes in pawpaw called papain break down protein into amino acids, making them more digestible for poultry. Yeast and bacterial microbes produce vitamins like vitamin B and other organic acids and small amount of alcohol. After 7 days, the mixture should have a pleasant sour smell, indicative of lactic acid fermentation, and a softer, more digestible texture for your poultry beds. The nutritional benefit of feeding unripe fermented pawpaw and corn flour for 7 days to your poultry beds. It enhances digestibility. Fermentation breaks down complex carbohydrates, protein and fiber into simpler forms, improving nutrient absorption in poultry. The papain enzyme in unripe pawpaw helps in protein digestion, benefiting growth and feed efficiency. The fermented feed is rich in probiotics, microorganisms like lactic acid bacteria, which improve gut health, enhance nutrient absorption, and boost immunity in poultry. Fermentation increases the availability of vitamins such as vitamin B complex. Unripe pawpaw is a good source of vitamin C, calcium, and potassium, which support bone health and metabolic processes. Fermented pawpaw is very rich in energy. The corn flour provides energy, starch, and simple sugars, which is critical for poultry growth and egg production. Anti-nutritional factor reduction. Fermentation reduces anti-nutritional factors like phytic acid and tannins in corn and pawpaw, making the feed safer and more nutritious. Cost effective. Using locally available materials reduces feed costs, while fermentation enhances the nutritional value, giving a double benefit to poultry and livestock animals. Introduce the fermented mixture gradually into the poultry bed's diet to avoid digestive upset. Use a supplemental feed providing 20 to 30% of the total diet alongside a balanced feed. Ensure the feed is fresh and not spoiled, as prolonged fermentation may lead to spoilage or harmful microbial growth. Ensure hygienic processes. during the preparation to avoid contamination by harmful bacteria. Monitor the fermentation steps. A strong foul smell could indicate spoilage. Discard the feed if mold appears. The fermentation process results in a nutrient-rich, digestible, and cost-effective poultry feed that promotes growth, improves gut health, and boosts immunity. If you like this particular content, give it a thumb up, share this video to reach more farmers, and at the same time, if you have any question regarding the process involved in the fermentation, drop it on the comment section. I will still guide you more. If you are yet to subscribe to our channel membership, this is the right time for you to do that. Subscribe to the channel membership so that you get the best from this channel. It will help you to get 24/7 attention to your poultry birds. After the fermentation process, use 20 to 30% of the fermented pawpaw and corn flour, then mix it with your normal daily feed and feed to your poultry birds. You can see their growth. It is good for broilers, it is good for noilers, it is good also for local birds, for turkeys, geese, and other livestock animals like sheep, cow, and pigs. The fermentation process boosts their growth quickly. You can see them eating the feed. You can see them. Both broilers and noilers can benefit from this pawpaw. Instead of wasting the unripe pawpaw, use it to reduce the cost of your feeding. Share this video and subscribe to the channel if you